The head of the disease control unit at the university is saying that he believes, as an expert, that the disease itself isn't generally harmful to most people.
I anticipate that most people will get the illness and most of them will have a short-lived illness and then get better. However, for people at the extremes of the age spectrum, maybe they will have more serious illness and have hospitalization and other things happen to them.
An expert from the University of Exeter says he does not expect the coronavirus to spread through the UK. More than 400 people have died, with more than 20,000 confirmed cases around the world, most of them in China. Dr. Bharat Pankhania is urging people here not to panic.
We have good infection control and sanitation services in the UK, and we have less overcrowding, less crowding of people. We just don't know enough about it. But my gut feelings are, I don't expect an explosive outbreak.
Now, the University of Bath has mobilised its emergency planning team, who are reviewing cleaning processes, making sure they're using antiviral cleaning products, topping up hand sanitisers, etc. But how contagious is coronavirus? Well, that's a question we put to an expert.
The information I want to share with members of our public is that we feel that this coronavirus isn't necessarily aerosolized, it's more through heavy droplets. So you're not going to get infected just by walking down the road or anything like that. And therefore, if people are unwell, they really ought to remove themselves from circulation and be scrupulous about their own personal hygiene.
A very good evening. An infectious disease expert from the University of Exeter has warned that tracing those who have come into contact with people diagnosed with coronavirus is extremely difficult. It comes as the first 2 cases in the West Country were confirmed this weekend. Dr. Bharat Pankhania says a lot of work will be going into finding people.
It is unfortunately not an exact science, because it is impossible to map exactly who the case may have been in contact with, as well as where they may have left a trail of infection.
The aim now is to find who both people have come into contact with, and a Bath-based disease control expert today told me that's hard.
It is impossible to map exactly who the case may have been in contact with, as well as where they may have left a trail of infection.
How concerned do you think people living around the Cotswolds, around the West Country, should be right now?
Well, one way to look at it is, instead of being concerned and saying to yourself, goodness me, what's happening? What you do is you get yourself informed, knowledgeable, and prepare yourself. We don't want to get infected, but the reassuring messages are that should you get infected, the expectation is that you will also get better. But with respect to the elderly, the infirm, people with coexisting conditions, they might get more of an illness, and unfortunately, some of them will die. We want to prevent illness and death as much as we can, and hence all these actions about containment, keeping the spread down, making the number of cases as small as possible.
So what about those people who might still be a little anxious about attending large public gatherings? Well, we spoke to a doctor who's an expert in communicable diseases, and he was saying it's really about common sense precautions.
I don't disagree with the Public Health England advice. What I am saying to our listeners is this: you also consider your own personal vulnerabilities, and if your personal vulnerabilities come up as a red flag, then you need to think about it and say to yourself, on balance, I will go or I won't go.